Have you ever thought about that? Sometimes the X doesn't always mark the spot. You know, I haven't because I've never been treasure hunting before. Anyways, hello everybody. This is That Manga Dude. We are officially at the end of anime, and what a better way to end off anime with not talking about anime at all. We're talking about manga with the first volume impressions. May is a crazy month. There was a lot of new manga that came out, and so many that I didn't even get to review. Most because I couldn't get my hands on them. So maybe that will be in the June one. But I managed to do not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. Count it, 5 different manga volumes. Number ones, really quick, really simple, super amazing. Can't wait to talk about them. It's going to be exciting. Just to give you an idea, if you've never watched the FBI before or the first volume impressions, I basically go into a deep dive / pretty big review of volume 1s to see whether or not they are good volume 1s and whether or not they're worth picking up. So yeah, hope you're excited. It's going to be a fun one. Let's go. Alright, let's get started. So, I'm doing these in alphabetical order, so if you're wondering why there's a specific order to these, that is why. So, with the first volume, this is a series that first started in December of 2021 in Monthly Shonen Gangan, which is a magazine that's magazine or publication that is done by Square Enix, and in April of 2023, Square Enix released the first volume here in English, and that is Hiromu Arakawa's Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Yeah, so let's get started real quick. Let's talk about the cover and the spine. So the cover, pretty cool. We got one of the main characters right here on the front with a really cool looking jade talisman or pendant, I guess, and then these 2 statues back here. Really love the black, white, and red color scheme. It's really nice, and then this is obviously looking great. So overall, this is a very nice cover and spine. Excuse me, I had a little burp there. Alrighty, let's get into it. So first, let me get some background information down. Translator is Amanda Haley. Letterer is Bianca Pistillo. Cover designer is Abigail Blackman. Editor is Tanya Biswas. Or Biswas? I believe that's how you pronounce it. Alright, let's go. So, I'm going to be talking about the characters first, and I'm only going to be talking about one character because I want to try to avoid as many spoilers as possible, so we're only going to talk about the main character here. This is Yuru. So, Yuru is one of 2 siblings that were born, and he lives in a village that's very old-fashioned. You know, they go and hunt, and they forage, and they do all these things, and yeah, he's your very much like typical loyal to his community, to his village, to protecting his sister, Asa. And Asa, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, overall, he's just a very stock standard, I would say, for the most part, character. Not a lot really truly goes anywhere in the first volume, which is not a bad thing, but it is definitely, I wish there was just a little bit more there, from Yuru specifically. But as I talk about the story, I think the story is what's truly captivating about this specific series. So, the story, like I mentioned, so these 2 siblings, Yuru and Asa, are born, and they're like basically like these 2 are like going to change the world somehow. I'm trying to stay away as much as possible from spoiling the story, but let's just say it really throws you for a loop. I had no idea what I was expecting when I read this. Honestly, I thought it was going to be very simple, very basic, high fantasy, and I was completely wrong. Subverted all of my expectations, and honestly, I kind of love it for that. It's definitely not what you're expecting when you come into it, because like I said, this cover honestly is kind of tricking you into thinking one thing, and the series goes in a completely opposite direction. But it is a really fun, or from what it seems like, a really fun demon story. A lot of interesting plot twists happen within the first volume, which is surprising. But classic Arakawa, really good character writing and really good writing in general. So you end up rooting kind of for both the antagonist and the protagonist. So excited to see where that goes as we move on into the second volume and more. And then last but not least, let's talk about the art. Very straightforward, very simple. I love Arakawa's work. I love Full Metal Alchemist. I love Silver Spoon. I've talked about Silver Spoon so much, and I haven't really talked about FMA very much, but that's because I'm not reading it right now. But yeah, I think Arakawa is one of the best current artists releasing, and in general is one of my favorites. She just has really good character design across the board. You gotta love her backgrounds. Overall, there's just a lot of like really nice drawings I love her facial expressions as well. So yeah, they just come through here, exactly what you'd expect from an Arakawa work. So solid action, really nice backgrounds, really great character designs. So overall, Demons of the Shadow Realm is a really fun first volume. I think it's really enjoyable and definitely worth a shot, especially if you love Arakawa work. And if you don't like Arakawa work, then I would say give it a shot if you like kind of like demons or like any kind of story with demons or just your classic shonen series. I'd say give this a shot. It's a pretty good one. And I had a great time with it. Okay, going into volume 2. This is coming from us, so coming from March 2019 from Jump Square and coming out in May of 2023 from Viz Media. I don't know why I had such a hard time saying that. Under their Shonen Jump label, we have ourselves Kenichi Kondo's Dark Gathering. Alright, let's get some background information done real quick. We have ourselves a translation and adaptation by Christine Dashiell, touch up art and lettering by Evan Waldinger, designed by Cam Lai, and editor is Andrew Kure Bartosh. So yeah, let's get right into this absolutely gorgeous front cover. Wow. It's kind of hard to tell with the lighting here, but it's just got some absolutely beautiful purples. This is just a really, really gorgeous, and it's one of those ones where it goes from the front to the back, which is always a little bit of a bias for me. That's something I just really enjoy. It's got a really nice spine, and I really actually enjoy this the font or whatever, the typeface that they use for the title. It's pretty sick. Honestly, across the board, this is a really, really nice cover, and arguably one of my favorites, but the competition is not very great. A little bit of a spoiler, but so let's get into it. We're going to go talking about two characters here. So I'm going to be talking about Keitaro Gentoga. He's the main character, actually, and he's not on the cover. This is somebody else, but basically Keitaro is a very normal high schooler who is plagued by being able to attract demons and spirits and ghosts, but he's really just trying to live a normal life. You can tell he's very caring for the people around him, and he seems to be very tenacious and worried, kind of like one of those people who's will definitely protect you if he cares about you. And I don't know, he's just overall he's a fairly endearing character. Would I say he's anything super complex at this point? Not necessarily, but I do like how his character is written, and it gets me a little bit excited for volume 2. And coming up next, we have ourselves Yayoi, I think that's how you pronounce it, Yayoi Hazuki. This is the main, this is the girl on the front. This is one of the main female leads. Niece? I think it's cousin. Anyways, she's a really young person, and is very smart, but seems to need some tutoring. So that's how Keitaro meets her, and you come to find out she is very, very weird. But that's also because she also has the ability to kind of see ghosts and somewhat attract them, but in a different way. So overall, their character dynamic is actually very odd and a little weird. And overall, I think they're cool. They're cool. Not my favorite characters out of the bunch, but honestly, I like how their dynamic does develop later in the volume. But at first, in the first couple chapters, I'm just man, kind of don't like the jokes. But that has more to do with the story and writing than I think with the characters. But let's get into the story really quick. So, like I mentioned, Keitaro is going into high school. Or is he going to college? Just one of the two. But basically, he needs to make some money, so he wants to become a tutor. So he gets actually a tip from one of his friends to go join this tutoring thing. Ends up tutoring that friend's cousin. Niece? Cousin. Niece? Cousin. Niece? Person. Anyways, this young girl basically, like I said, needs tutoring, but really she just needs someone to go with her to go to really spooky places in order to attract ghosts and spirits. As you come to find out during the story, like I said, she has the ability to see ghosts in a way, so she is capturing them for a certain reason. I'm not going to spoil it here, but let's just say that her reasoning is very crazy, and overall this story is actually pretty dang cool. They pose a lot of interesting questions from the beginning. They don't answer any of them yet, of course, at least for the most part, but I'm really, really excited. I think they started very strong in terms of the story. I will say some of the writing is not my favorite. They do make a lot of jokes haha, you're playing, you're saying weird things to a kid, hee hee kind of thing, and I'm not usually the biggest fan of that. So yeah, it's those jokes are not my favorite, but I think like with the darker, tense moments that they're written very well. And there's some really creepy parts in this, which I'm going to get into with the art. And now that I'm talking about the art, the art is very, very, very good. There's a lot of absolutely terrifying moments. The character designs are just absolutely bonkers. I mean, Yayoi's design, like, I don't know if you kind of saw it just in general, but like she's got basically skeletons for eyes, so like that's already kind of bizarre. And she's got like these crazy boots, which I can't seem to find for some reason, but she's also very weird. But the unsettling moments are actually pretty terrifying. There's some really creepy imagery in this. Overall, it's very dark. Can get very gory as well. Not something I wasn't expecting, but like yeah, overall the art is fantastic for this one. If you want to see some really creepy, unsettling moments, some very creepy monsters, some very terrifying like facial expressions as well. There's some really creepy ones. It definitely caught me off guard, and I wasn't sure what I was expecting. I think that's why I liked it a lot. So overall, if you like horror manga, or if you like mangas about or manga about characters who like demons and spirits and ghosts and stuff like that, and you're not, and you have like a kind of a strong stomach, because there are definitely some moments that are a little bit gorier than others. So just keep that in mind if you're gonna pick this up. But overall, I thought this was really good and kind of a sleeper hit. I didn't hear anybody talking about this until it released. So yeah, get on it. It's really cool. Okay, coming into volume 3, we have ourselves, this one's probably the heaviest hitting one, yeah, get ready for that. So, this one was first released in May of 2021 under the Bisatsu Friends magazine, and was released in April of 2023 from 7 Seas Entertainment, and that is My Girlfriend's Child by Mamoru Aoe. So, let's get into the background stuff. We have a lot, because 7 Seas throws in a lot of information about it. So, we have translator is Hannah Allen. Lettering is by Phil Christie. Cover design is by H. Chi. Proofreader is Mary Kate Jasper. Copy editor is B. Lillian Martin. And editor is Mackenzie Carnahan. Woo! Alright. Cover. Cover is very simple, very straightforward. I actually really like the cover itself. The spine is fine. Not my favorite, but I do like this kind of like cursive-like, just really pretty font that they use for the title and for like the spine title as well. And a really cute little illustration on the back. Yeah, let's get into it. This one's gonna be a lot, so just be ready for that. I'm gonna throw up some trigger warnings. Let's do it now, actually. Throw up some trigger warnings right here. So if you are triggered by any of these things, just keep that in mind. So, we have ourselves 2 characters I'm going to talk about, and that's 2 characters on the front here. So we have Sachi. She is the female lead. And yeah, she's just overall just seems like a very nice character across the board. Really caring for her boyfriend, Takara, who we're going to talk about in a bit. And really cares for animals and just overall, I don't know, she's just a great character, great person. Feels very human, and I really like that, honestly. I think that's what makes this specific story work so well, is that she does feel like a true high school student. So, yeah, it works really well in this story. Now, coming up to Takara, oh my goodness. Takara is the best boy, best boyfriend, best significant other I've seen in a very long time in a manga that I've read. I think he's absolutely amazing. He's really well written. He's really supportive of her, especially with, as the title suggests later, some things that go on. But overall, no, he's just really willing to listen. He's really well written. He's so good. He's so great. He's so lovely. Honestly, and their character dynamic is wonderful. It's very, very human, like I mentioned before, but I think that's what makes it so make these characters so relatable, so easy to empathize and sympathize with. Overall, man, I love it. They're great. They're absolutely wonderful. I love their characters. Going into the story is extremely straightforward. The name is right there. But basically, so like I said, these 2 are going out and they're in high school, and then after what appears to be like a broken little thing, a broken thingy. I'm trying to avoid using words that will get me demonetized, because yeah, YouTube is kind of mean about that. Anyways, let's just say some things go awry, and she starts to feel kind of weird. She's getting like these hunger kind of thing. She used to be eating more. She's bleeding at weird times. So she decides to take a pregnancy test, and lo and behold, she is positive. So yeah, it's about her and Takara trying to figure it out. Being high schoolers, obviously this is really difficult, really hard. So it's a lot. It goes through a lot of information. It's just very very hard to read at some points, but also like I think it's important that like media like this exists, because I feel like a lot of people look down on these things like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have just done it in the first place, blah blah blah, if they had just stayed celibate, do. We can try to make excuses all we want, but I feel like it is more important to be talking about how we can help these people, especially with such a difficult time in their lives, especially because their lives are just getting started, and like having a child is so difficult. It's very hard. I think this manga is extremely important. It gives you a lot to think about as well. I don't know. Overall, it's just super well written. Mamoru Aoi absolutely killed it in this characters and the story. So let's get into the art, where once again, absolutely gorgeous art. There are so many beautiful, gorgeous moments, like such beautiful like page spreads, backgrounds. A lot of just absolutely amazing moments. Like the characters are all very well drawn. I really like the style. I really like her style in general. There's like this nice like sketchy kind of like drawing that she uses. A lot of like the pencil strokes can be seen, and I don't know. It just looks beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. This manga is fantastic and probably one of the best that I've read to this date. So it's a little bit of a spoiler for the ranking at the end. But yeah, I think this is a must read for people who are ready for this kind of information. People who are adults, and for teenagers, for basically anyone really. I think the series is so well done across the board. Give it a shot. Really, it deserves your time. It's very, very, very good, and I can't sing the praises enough. This series is phenomenal, and I'm really excited to read as we keep going. And on to number 4. So, this one is probably the oldest original publication for this one, so just get ready for that. So, originally publishing or original chapter first started in April of 2012, and first releasing here in English print, because it was digital I think in 2021, but we finally get an English print as of May 2023 from Kodansha, and that is Hiroyuki Takei's Shaman King Flowers. This is the sequel to Shaman King, which is a absolutely fantastic series, and you'll probably hear about in the near future. Anyways, let's get into it. So let me talk about this background information. I'm only going to be talking about the print edition. There is information about the digital edition, but because I'm reading the print edition, I'm only going to be talking about the print edition people. So for print edition lettering, we have Nicole Roderick, and for print edition editing, we have Tomoko Nagano. So let's get into the spine and covers. I don't know why I had such a hard time thinking about that. Yeah, cover is really cool. Features Hiroyuki Takei's fantastic artwork. The spine is fine. I kind of wish there was more to it, but I mean, this is very much reminiscent of the original Shaman King release print, and also the Shaman King omnibuses that Kodansha has done. So it's very simple, but I think it's a little too plain for my taste. But yeah, I really like that this is like, I don't know, like kind of like this like old TV kind of look to it on the back. For the front, basically the same. So overall, it's not my favorite, but yeah, I just really like Takei's work. So yeah, art's always looking good. Anyways, let's get into the characters. I'm only talking about one character because there's only one really true main character that shows up, and that is going to be Hana Asakura. So please note that if you have not read Shaman King, you should probably do that first before you watch this part of the video, because there's going to be minor spoilers for the most part about the original series, so just keep that in mind. This is a sequel, so yeah, you kind of need to know that. Anyways, Hana Asakura is Yo Asakura and Anna the Itako's son. Holy moly. Sibling, I almost said. They're not brothers. This is their child, and yeah, he's basically growing up in Japan, and has the same spirit, Amidamaru, which is Yo's spirit from back in the day. And yeah, Hana is the complete opposite of Yo. He is very loud, he's rambunctious, he's always starting fights, very bored with where he is. He doesn't want to be where he is. He'd rather just be like hanging out, fighting people instead of going to school. So completely different character, and I think it's kind of nice to have like a the complete opposite like on the spectrum for the characters, especially for Shaman King, because yeah, Shaman King has some very well written characters, and Hana seems to be pretty well written as well. At least for the first volume, I haven't read it. I've been very patient. I've been very good. I have not read any scans, and I don't read digitally, so I've been waiting very, very patiently. I didn't even know this was going to come out, so I was super excited when this got announced for print. But overall, Hannah, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is a pretty cool character. Yeah, I just like his very rambunctious and just like fight everybody kind of kind of brain. He's very one brain cell, but he's very funny, very classic Shaman King character writing. So going into the story, it's pretty straightforward. This is a few years after the first the Shaman King series ends, so this is the sequel, like I mentioned. You do get to see a lot of characters from the past, so I'm not going to mention them, but just know you're going to see characters from the original Shaman King showing up. And overall, the story is interesting. Basically, like, this branch of the Asakura family has come to go and kill the main line, which is Hana and Yo, in order to take over as the main line. So that's as much as we know, and it's pretty straightforward. It's very simple. I wasn't expecting, like, a super complex story, but yeah, that's all there really is to Shaman King Flowers. It's not like, you know, this big brain requires a lot of information, a lot of thinking. It's, you know, it's right there. It's right in front of you. It's fun. I don't know. I think it's enjoyable. I don't think it needs to be anything like stupendous or mind-bending, like I mentioned. But overall, the story is cool. And I'm excited to see where it goes as we continue to find out more about this branch of the Asakura family that we've never even heard of. And which leads me to the art. The art, like I mentioned when I was talking about the cover, I love Hiroyuki Takei's art. It is so beautiful. I love his use of black has always been something I've really respected. Because, you know, a lot of mangaka, they'll use grayscales and stuff like that, which is not a bad thing, but I think, like, Takei uses a lot more black than most artists that I see, and I kind of respect that. I think the black really helps, like, the lighter moments pop out, a lot of the characters' clothing to be, like, sleeker and more modern, and, like, characters' hairs pop out more often. I think overall, like, Takei just has, like, a really, really great art style, especially for action scenes across the board. I think the action scenes are really good in this one. And like I said, the character designs, while, like, most of them are kind of already based off of other characters we've seen, overall, I still like them. I don't know. I don't mind them, especially for a sequel. I think they're done really well. It's good. It's good. So, would I suggest you to pick this up? If you have not read Shaman King, I don't think you should be reading Shaman King Flowers. Mostly because it just requires so much information from the original series, and they make a lot of references to the original series that, like, it would be pretty difficult to get into this, like, as a standalone. But if you have read Shaman King, you should definitely just pick this up. Pick this up, like, right now, because, like, it's more Shaman King, and if you love Shaman King, this is like a no-brainer. You gotta pick it up. It's fantastic. It's lovely. Go pick it up right now, actually. Just do it. You know, just do it. That's what I said. So, yeah, it's great. And into the final volume for this FBI. So, this one has originally released in March of 2017 in Weekly Shonen Champion. Coming to us in May of 2023 from Kodansha, we have ourselves Welcome to Demon School, Rumakun by Osamu Nishi. Let's get into the background information real quick. We have editor is Ajani Oloye. Translation is from Jacqueline Fung. Production is by Shirley Fang and Pei An Yap. Letterer is Nicole Roderick, and proofreading by Micah J. Allen. So, cover and spine. This cover is super cool. I kind of love this. It's very gorgeous. It's very pretty. The colors really pop. Ruma looking very goofy, just like he does in the series. And yeah, the back is also really nice. And the spine, no, not my favorite, but I guess we'll just deal with it. It's fine. But yeah, this is a really nice cover and back cover, so I will forgive the side. Alright, going into characters, I'm only going to talk about one character once again, because I feel like you should check the series out for yourself if you want to see like everybody that's in it. But we're gonna talk about Iruma-kun because he is on the cover and his name is right there. So how could you not talk about him? His name is Iruma Suzuki, and he is the classic yes man. Basically, if anybody asks him to do things, he will almost always say yes. And that comes at quite the cost, as we come to find out, because he basically signs on to be connected to a demon because his parents sell him off, basically, and he agrees to it. Very, 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 very reluctantly. And this specific demon is like, well, you're going to go to demon school. So, as the name suggests, that is how he gets to it. I kind of already talked about the story, but I like to talk more about Iruma-kun. I actually think Iruma-kun's like background story is very sad, and it really helps you to like empathize. Like I said, empathize and sympathize for this character. A lot of things that he does seems very, like, at least makes sense for what's happened to him. And overall, he's just a very likable character. I think he's great. He's a very fun main character, and he has some really weird quirks. And of course, everything just goes right for him for the most part, at least in the first volume. So I'm really excited to see where that leads as we continue on with the story. So like I mentioned, our boy got signed off to demon school. He is the only human at this demon school, and yeah, he meets a lot of very colorful characters across the board. This series is wacky, it's dumb at some points, but it's really fun. I don't know, it's just a really fun read. I think it's like, it bears comparisons to like Rosario Vampire and series that are like that, where it's like, oh, human goes to demon school, but I think this one actually does the trope better than Rosario Vampire. I think it's just because like this is like not a horror manga, and I'm like, I think horror mangas are fine, but I think this one, because it relies more heavily on the comedy and on like the storytelling, I think this one does a very, very, very good job of it, and I think the background characters are all very well written. I was having a great time reading through this. This was a fun one, and I just finished it recently, so yeah, I'm very fresh on it. But overall, this was a good story. Now let's talk about the art. So the art actually isn't my favorite. I don't think it's like bad or anything. But it's not like, I don't know, there's nothing about it that really stands out to me, per se. I think it's good. There's a lot of like cool action moments, a lot of fun posing. I do think some of the portrait types are not the best in my opinion. Very flat, very kind of like meh. But I don't think most people can draw portrait very well anyways. If you don't know what portrait is, it's basically a side profile of a character. Or not, wait, side profile, whatever. I meant to say side profile. You know what I mean. Okay, now you know what I mean. Anyways, overall, this series is pretty good. I think this is definitely worth a pickup if you like shonen series. If you like that human in the demon school trope, give it a shot. I think it's pretty fun. It's very funny. And a lot of the characters are very likable, so can't wait to see where this one goes. I think this one builds up really well at the beginning, so excited for Volume 2. Okay, so now going into the ranking of all the Volume 1s, or at least the new Volume 1s, from May of 2023's FBI. So there are 5. This is the most I've had ever. So this was quite the undertaking. It definitely was a lot of research and required a lot of me reading, but yeah, this was a really fun video to do. So let's get into the ranking. Okay, I think I know which one is my least favorite. So going from least favorite, let me move these out of the way real quick, and I'm going to stack them appropriately. So my least favorite, aka number 5, doesn't mean it's bad. Remember, keep that in mind. Doesn't mean it's bad at all. And that is going to be Daemons of the Shadow Realm. So, I thought I would like this one a little bit more. I think it's good. But in comparison to everything else I read, I think this one was the weakest out of the 5. It's still very enjoyable, like I mentioned. It's definitely worth a pickup for most people. So, yeah, it just didn't tickle my fancy this time around. Going into number 4, I think will actually be a surprise to most people, but I'm going to say Shaman King Flowers is my number 4 for this spot. And that's just because, like, maybe it's because I was expecting a little bit more from it, but I just thought it was good. I think it was good. It was very good for Shaman King people, but overall, it's not like the best thing that I read. I think it was very good, but the competition is very, very strong this time around. So coming into number 3, I'm putting Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun as number 3, because it was just like a breath of fresh air. It was very fun, really enjoyable. I really liked it. And then I think it's pretty obvious what number 1 is, but Dark Gathering is number 2. I think Dark Gathering is very, 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 very good. And like I mentioned, a complete sleeper hit that I don't even know anyone was expecting to be as good as it was. But you should really give it a shot. It's super awesome. And number 1 is My Girlfriend's Child. This was fantastic, and I was not expecting it at all. It was heart-wrenching. It was hard to read. It was difficult. Really made you think. I just thought it was fantastic. It was great. It was lovely. I can't wait to read more of it. It's so good. So yeah, that's going to be the ranking for this one. Was it surprising to you? Because it was definitely surprising to me. I'm not going to lie. I thought I would have rated Shaman King Flowers more, or higher at least, but I just, there were just some things were a little bit better this time around. So, yeah, very surprising. But overall, yeah, this is the ranking. So from best to least best, this is how I rank them. Yeah, what did you read in May of 2023? Did you read anything, any volume 1s that were super good? Let me know in the comments below. Did you read any of these? I'd like to know if you checked out any of these 5 volumes, because yeah, this is a lot of really cool new series, and definitely worth a shot for most people. I just love to know what you guys are checking out, because I read a lot, so yeah. And you know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all fantastic things. You're all lovely for doing that. You're all wonderful. I will give you a electrical hug. Electrical? What am I even saying? A virtual hug. Here you go. Oh. But if you decided to not do any of those things, thanks for watching this video anyways. You made it through like, I don't know, 25 minutes maybe? That's just a guess. I'm probably wrong. I don't care. Anyways, you have officially finished the May 2023 FVI. I will see you in the next video, which will probably be the pickups video for May. Bye-bye.